I'm Zarela Martinez, and I want to share my story with you. It's a Cinderella kind of story. I was discovered. I was actually raised to triumph. When I was 8 years old, my mother said to me, well, I said to her first, why did you name me Zarela? I couldn't have a normal name like Gabriela, Ana, Cecilia, anything but Zarela. And she said to me, because it's going to look great in lights, honey. Now, I don't know where she got that idea. We lived in a cattle ranch in Mexico. I was born in Sonora and raised in this cattle ranch. I used to be a little tomboy. I used to break horses and brand and, you know, lasso and go on cattle drives. But my mother decided that I was going to be a success, and she made darn sure that I did. So that was on one hand. And if I was afraid, she'd say, amárrate un huevo, make some balls. Don't be afraid. Get back on that horse. And my father would be telling me on the other side, Mija, the only sin in life is to waste your talents. And you've been given a lot of them, and it's your responsibility to develop them and use them wisely and responsibly. So with that kind of background, I guess it was not that difficult to triumph if you've got parents who are right behind you. I was sent off to boarding school when I was 7 years old. Not the happiest time of my life, to tell you the truth. But I had to, because the ranch was in the middle of nowhere. There were no schools there that I could attend. And I stayed in boarding schools in the United States through high school. And when I graduated, in the top 10% of my class, of course, my father said, no, you're not going to go to college in the United States. It was the time of the hippies. And he wanted me to go back to Mexico and reclaim my culture and go to the school that was called the Instituto de Formación Familiar, so that I could become the perfect housewife for a cattle rancher. And I said I lasted 1 year. I mean, I was making flowers, out of breadcrumbs, and flower arranging and destaining and embroidering, and I learned to cook the fine food of the people of Guadalajara. And I had already learned how to do all the basics with my mother. And I said to my dad, I got to feed my mind. It's great about this school, and I've learned a lot of things, but I have to do something that uses my mind. So I studied mass communications, and both of those things that I studied were very useful in my career. I kind of had a little breakdown there, so my mother sent me off to Europe for 9 months, and when I didn't come back all cured, she sent me off to the ranch with my father, where I lived for 2 years, and it was a wonderful experience. And he and I cooked some more. We made pomegranate jelly and did all kinds of barbecues, and it was just a wonderful time in my life. And then I moved to El Paso because it was time to have a real life. And I met my ex-late husband, and I married him. He was a widower with 3 kids actually. And then I got pregnant with twins. By this time I was a medical social worker, or a food stamp social worker, later to become a medical social worker. And we needed extra money. So I started baking Christmas cookies. And I started cooking for my sister and her friends. And my mother said, you have talent for this, honey. So I'm going to give you your inheritance in life. And I'm going to send you to cooking classes all over. She sent me to this woman who taught me all about catering, Lillian Haynes. She was the first certified executive chef who was a woman. And she taught me the most important lesson of my life. She said, you've got to develop an identity, a style that's all your own, and that people will identify with you. So if you're catering and you're not there, if somebody tastes something, they'll know, Zarela must be cooking. In one of those trips where she took me to New Orleans, I met Chef Paul Prudhomme. And he became my mentor. He actually made everything possible for me. I will be forever grateful. He brought me to do this big event at Tavern on the Green. And it launched me. Very soon, I was sending recipes to the White House for Queen Elizabeth's visit to the Reagan Ranch. And then they invited me to cook for the Williamsburg Summit. It was the start of the American restaurant scene. It was Wolfgang Puck, Paul Prudhomme, and me. And I said, I'm moving to New York, So I moved here with $10,000, put $9,000 on an apartment, and was left with $1,000. And my ex-husband said, you're going to have to come back. And I said, honey, I'll sell burritos in Central Park, but I'm not coming back. And I somehow made it. I mean, a lot of people helped me, and somebody became my patron, Beth DeWoody, and everything was just wonderful. I first worked at Cafe Marimba, where I learned the restaurant business, to tell you the truth, and then I opened my own place in 1987. By then, I had a life plan already all set up. My dream was to open a catering business, which I had done in El Paso, then move to New York, open my own restaurant, write a book. I've written three and working on a fourth. I wanted to have a series, a PBS series, and I did uh, one called Zarela, La Cocina Veracruzana, and my last book, Zarela's Veracruz, was a companion to it. And the restaurant was very, very successful, and so I wanted to have a line of products, which I did. It was at Walmart for 3 years until the licensing fees got too high. But they were really good for me, and the line was very innovative. It was for soft goods, like pillows and kitchen towels and all that. It was wonderful. I mean, I had a really good time. But I always had the idea that I wanted to leave a legacy. And I have been very, very fortunate in having, first of all, been kind of a pack rat and have saved every little piece of paper that ever was in my life. And which it turned out to be a really good idea because I guess through my career, it kind of traces a history of Mexican food in the United States since 1981. When I first appeared on the scene, the photos of the photos guide at that time said the Mexican food that's available in the United States bears the same uncomfortable resemblance that a howling monkey has to man. I'm widely credited with bringing regional Mexican food to the United States, and I'm very proud of that because my mission is to make my culture known and understood, especially during these times of difficult times for us Mexican Americans. So I feel very honored that to have my papers available to researchers, and it's a huge, huge archive. And now I'm semi-retired. I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's, so what I'm trying to do is to go on the lecture series and show people that you can do anything you want, no matter if you have a disability or not. It has not stopped me, believe me, for one bit. I exercise and I do everything that I want, and I'm working on a new project, and I've raised two beautiful kids, and I have and one of them is a lawyer who just had his second baby, and then the other boy, man now, is a big star, Aaron Sanchez. You might know him. But more than anything, I have also a lot of kind of adopted kids I mentor who are Mexican American, and I'm hoping to empower them because I want them to realize that there's nothing in the world that can stop them. If you want to make it, you will make it. And I thank you for listening to my story. I hope you liked it. And I thank you for taking me into account.